On today's episode of Public Eye News, possible flooding in the Upper Peninsula following a soggy week, and more on Hurricane Michael's path of devastation.
Caleb Rydell gives us a look at the weather on a surprisingly sunny day, and Christine Charette previews tonight's NMU hockey season opener. Hi, I'm Ross Ray.
I'm Grant Lukens, and this is Public Eye News. Flood warnings are continuing for the UP into the start of the weekend. Houghton is in flood warning until Saturday evening due to the water being above acceptable levels. Iron County is in flood warning until Saturday afternoon with water at around 5.7 feet. Marquette is under a flood advisory until this evening. Flood advisories means light flooding may occur in the town. Areas all along the Menominee River are also under a flood warning. People along the river should prepare for flooding by getting bags of sand and other supplies. NMU hosted the UP Area Health Education Center's seminar on human trafficking and trauma-informed care. The 7-hour seminar was simulcasted around Michigan and featured several doctors and human trafficking survivors. The talk touched aspects of how to notice warning signs of human trafficking, identifying victims of human trafficking, and how to report it safely. To learn more about upcoming events by the UP Area Health Education Center, visit their website.
Smoke continues to bellow from the ruins of the Blanley Lodge after a fire destroyed the structure yesterday. The owner reports that an electrical problem is likely to blame for the fire just into a week into the historic site's off-season. No injuries were reported. The owner states that she would like to rebuild the old bed and breakfast as it was a part of the early 1900s Blanley Park Resort. Something fishy happened on the Ore Dock Brewery show, Science on Tap, last Thursday night. Northern Michigan University biologist Brandon Grigg flopped his way onto the show to talk about Pacific salmon in Lake Superior. Science Tap brings on partners from the university or from elsewhere the second Thursday of every month to give the viewers some fascinating stories. The show is one of the first community outreach projects that the brewery and the staff have created, and the staff says it's a great partnership in the community.
A Lawrence man's arrested for having a pipe bomb in his vehicle was sentenced on Thursday. Caleb Lynham was charged with attempted dangerous weapon. On August 10th, police responded to a 2-car collision between Lynham and a Houghton woman. There were minor damages to the vehicle, but luckily the bomb did not go off. Police found the bomb and called the bomb squad, who made the device non-functioning. Lyman was arrested and charged yesterday, though his sentence time is yet to be released to the public. When it's cold outside, Marquette opens its Room at the Inn homeless shelter. The Room at the Inn is beginning its 12th season of helping those in need. The Inn works with local churches to bring food and shelter to those in need while helping them find adequate housing. Room at the Inn is currently looking for volunteers and any available donations to help them serve the less fortunate. If you would like to know more about Room at the Inn, visit roomattheinn.org. And after the break, we'll be back with your national and international news. Stay tuned.
I have the key to
Coming up on Austin City Limits.
And you may see me tonight with an illegal smile. It don't cost very much, but it lasts a long while. I was drowning in a sea, lost as I could be, when you found me with your boundless love.
Saturday night at 11 on Public TV 13.
Welcome back. Search crews in Florida continue their search for survivors in the aftermath of Hurricane Michael. The hurricane made landfall Wednesday, sporting a terrifying 155-mile-per-hour winds against the town of Mexico Beach. With a population of around 1,000 people, state officials say about 285 people stayed behind to batter down against the storm. Searches for the missing people continue as distribution centers are being set up outside of Walmart and Publix to pass out food and water to the victims. As the death toll stands around 11 victims across the South, officials say the numbers will most likely continue to rise as the search remains ongoing. A high-ranking American Catholic leader stepped down in the scandal over sexual abuse by priests. Pope Francis has accepted Cardinal Wuerl's resignation as Archbishop of Washington. Mola Lenghi reports from Washington, D.C.
Cardinal Donald Wuerl's 50-year career in the Catholic Church came to an end today with a letter from Pope Francis. In it, the Pope accepted Wuerl's resignation, but said there were sufficient elements for Wuerl to have resisted stepping down, saying there's a difference between covering up crimes and simply making a mistake. This summer, Wuerl became entangled in 2 major sexual abuse and cover-up scandals. His name appears over 200 times in a Pennsylvania grand jury report accusing him of protecting some child-molesting priests when he was Bishop of Pittsburgh. And in July, his predecessor in Washington, Theodore McCarrick, stepped down over abuse charges. Wuerl spoke with CBS's Nikki Battiste in August.
Did you ever move priests quietly to another?
That wasn't our process.
Paul Dorsch says he met with Wuerl in 1997 to report abuse he suffered when he was 13 years old.
He was very, very standoffish. I had a letter that I wanted him to read. He would not read it. He would not open it. He would not touch it.
Pope Francis called Cardinal Wuerl's decision to step down noble. The Pope also asked Wuerl to stay on in an administrative role until a new Archbishop of Washington can be named. Outside St. Matthew's Cathedral in Washington, parishioners say this is a step in the right direction.
Pray for the healing of those who have been hurt, and pray for the healing of those who caused the harm.
In a letter to parishioners, Wuerl apologized for his failures and asked for forgiveness from victims and healing for those wounded at the hands of church ministers. Mola Lenghi, CBS News, Washington.
In helping survivors.
U.S. astronaut Nick Hang thanked the Russian rescue team for the quick rescue and release of him and his team after a failed launch resulted in a crash landing in Kazakhstan. The Soyuz rocket, which Hang and a Russian cosmonaut were in, failed 2 minutes after launch, resulting in them having to use the emergency shuttle to carry them back to Earth. Russian space officials say that the astronauts are fine despite hitting 6 to 7 Gs upon falling back to Earth. A NASA spokesperson says that the emergency rescue system on the rocket worked flawlessly, saving their lives. Global pressure is being put on the Saudis to come clean about their involvement in the possible assassination of a Washington Post journalist. This, as word comes, there may be video and audio proof of his murder. CBS News' Laura Podesta has the latest.
The Turkish government reportedly has audio and video evidence journalist Jamal Khashoggi was killed inside Saudi Arabia's consulate in Istanbul. That's according to the Washington Post, which quotes a source as saying you can hear Khashoggi being interrogated, tortured, then killed on the recording. Last night, an entire TV program in Turkey was dedicated to Khashoggi, who was supposed to be a guest on the show.
If they can do it in a consulate, they'll probably next time contemplate doing it in the streets, in the road.
Speaking to reporters yesterday, President Trump said the U.S. is working with Saudi Arabia to find out what happened, but he's stopping short of imposing punishing sanctions on the kingdom.
I don't like the concept of stopping an investment of $110 billion into the United States. Because you know what they're going to do? They're going to take that money and spend it in Russia or China or someplace else.
The Saudi government is denying accusations that Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman ordered the assassination of Khashoggi, who had written critically about the monarchy. Laura Podesta, CBS News, New York.
And after the break, we'll be back with your weather and sports. Stay tuned.
This week on High School Bowl, we enter some rarefied air. Our quarterfinals are Erudite 8. In our first match, the Hancock Bulldogs take on the Marquette Redmen. Hi, I'm Jim Koski, and then in our second game, our Erudite 8 continues when the Sault Ste. Marie Blue Devils go up against the Escanaba Eskimos. That's coming up this week on High School Bowl.
Welcome back. I'm Caleb Bradell, going to be taking you through your weather for today. As you can see behind me on the NMU campus, we got quite a bit of clouds out there that might be turning into moisture here coming soon. But right now we're looking at cloudy out there with a temperature of 38, so we're really close to that freezing point. Winds out of the west-northwest at 10 miles per hour and a barometric pressure of 29.87 inches and falling. Last night we did see a bit of snow, and while we're not looking at it right now, we may be looking at it in the future. Take a look at tonight. We're going to see partly cloudy out there with a low of 31 degrees and winds out of the west at 9 miles per hour. Take a look tomorrow. We're going to see partly cloudy out there with a high of 50, so it is going to be rising back up just a little bit, and winds out of the southwest at 13 miles per hour. Take a look across the UP. We're going to see clouds everywhere, and we're going to start up in Sault Ste. Marie with 39. Also 39 is Manistee, Escanaba with 37, and down in Menominee, that 39 number again. Taking a look at the western half of the UP, we're going to see Iron Mountain with 35 degrees, 32 in Ironwood, up the Keweenaw in Houghton, 36, and back here in Marquette, 38 degrees. Let's take a look at your week ahead. On Sunday, we are looking at a high of 43 with a low of 33 and some clouds out there. Monday, a high of 41 with a low of 31 and some clouds. And then Tuesday, we're looking at some partly cloudy out there with a high of 45 and a low of 34. Well, Christine, we are getting cold weather out here, and I hear it's good because we're getting some cold weather sports going as well.
Yep, hockey is coming up, and everybody's pretty excited for it. The NMU hockey team will begin their season against Michigan State University this weekend. The team completed last season with a 25-15-3 overall record and entered the national rankings for the first time since 2014, reaching number 16th in the USCHO.com poll. Senior goaltender Ate Tolvanen returns for his final season this year. Tolvanen was named first team all WCHA at the end of last season with a 23-10-1 record, which were the fourth most wins in the NCAA. The Wildcats and Spartans face off tonight and Saturday at 7 p.m. in the Mun Ice Arena. The NMU Wildcats football also hits the road this week to take on Saginaw Valley State University this Saturday. The Saginaw Cardinals are going into the game at a 5-1 after facing their first loss of the season last week against Ashland University, while the Wildcats are entering the game at 1-5. Senior Jake Mahan is close to breaking NMU record of rushing yards in a career. This current season, he has 834 yards and a total of 3,549 rushing yards in his career. Jake Mahan is just 294 yards shy of hitting the record. The Philadelphia Eagles faced off against the New York Giants last night. The Eagles jumped on top quickly as Eli Manning was intercepted by linebacker Camu Grugier-Hill in the first half. The Eagles dominated throughout the game, even with injuries on their side. Eagles starting left tackle Jason Peters suffered a bicep injury that caused him to leave the game early. Peters will be getting an MRI today to see if this will impact his later games. Despite the injuries, the final score of the night was Eagles 34, Giants 13. And I hear you have an interesting story for us, one with a man with a nickname that's quite familiar to many people.
I do indeed. This Willy Wonka isn't handing out sweets, rather is pleading guilty to over 60 charges. 47-year-old Willy Wonka Rodriguez pleads guilty Thursday to his role as leader of a multi-state ATM and vehicle burglary ring. Rodriguez is one of 5 people arrested in August during a police investigation named Operation Gold Ticket. He faces up to 12 years in prison without any chocolate to his name. And that's all we have time for this evening. Tune in next week for some more news with Public Eye News.
The preceding program was produced in studios located in the Edgar L. Hardin Learning Resources Center by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television.